license?
That'll be me, Judge.
Okay, well, let's get on the record in 24 SC 003942. It's State versus Jaquavius Hammond, represented by Mr. Kraft. They're standing up at the podium. And Quantavious Hammond, represented by Ms. Wood, and they are seated at defense counsel table. Gentlemen, you're both charged with armed robbery and carjacking, a couple other offenses. And today is, in theory, the last day to enter a plea, if you were going to plead, where you could withdraw the plea if you didn't like the sentence that I gave you. You are charged with some things that have some pretty serious mandatory minimums. And so that doesn't give me a lot of flexibility to do things all that different from what might be recommended if I thought I needed to do something different, depending on what the recommendation is. But let's hear from Ms. Dilligard what the recommendation is, should either Mr. Hammond want to enter a plea today.
Judge, the state's recommendation is 15 to do 7 pursuant to OCGA 1710 6.1E.
15 serve 7, and I'd structure it however, but that would resolve all the counts.
All the counts.
Okay, all right. So Jaquavius Hammond, do you understand what the state's recommendation is? If you were to enter a plea today, the state would be recommending a term where you'd serve 7 years in custody, followed by 8 years on probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Quantavious Hammond, same recommendation. If you were to enter a plea today, the state would be recommending that I sentence you to 7 years in custody, followed by 8 years on probation. Do you understand that? Okay. Jaquavius Hammond, is that an offer you're interested in pursuing today?
Judge, I think what we want to do, if I want to make a request to hold open his final plea rights. As I discussed earlier, we have some outstanding subpoenas that we haven't received the information back on. I do want to see what those are going to say, and I want to have an opportunity to have further discussions with Ms. Dilligard on the matter.
Okay. I don't want you to reveal secret defense strategies, but what's the general nature of what you're trying to subpoena?
The subpoenas are phone records from my client and the alleged victim, and likely in Instagram records and possibly Cash App records. So
Okay.
I just want to be in full disclosure. I filed subpoenas for phone records back in November. Based on information that I received from my client's family yesterday, I think we might be submitting subpoenas for Cash App records and Instagram records.
Okay, so you haven't done those yet.
Haven't done those yet, but the phone records are requested.
And you haven't heard back from the phone companies yet?
One is T-Mobile and the other is Verizon, and I haven't heard back.
Okay.
The case from Verizon.
You haven't been told we don't have anything. You haven't been told we've got something, but it's taken a while. You've heard.
There was my investigator originally subpoenaed the wrong company, so I obviously received a response there, and then another one was filed for Verizon. So I haven't heard back, and I have not heard back from the T-Mobile subpoena that we sent out in November.
Okay.
So it's just a
All right. So you want the final plea rights preserved because there could be information you're able to provide that could shift things in your client's favor.
That would be my guess. Yes, Judge, I think so.
Okay. Your client and his brother are on the January 30th trial calendar.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that you're going to have Instagram or Cash App information back by then. And if you did, it might be coming in right on the eve of trial, in which case Ms. Dilligard might say, I need some time. So I guess we'll need to see how that plays out.
Yes, Your Honor.
I guess what I'm going to ask you to do is, I know I will see everyone again on the 30th when we call the calendar. You're going to need to have information from each of the recipients of subpoenas. Yes, we're getting you something. Here's why it's taken so long. Phone companies, Cash App and Instagram received, but we always require 60 days. Something where you can share with me, not a hunch, but I'm being told that we will get something, whatever that something is, and it could be a letter that says we have nothing responsive to your subpoena. What I don't want to do is be in this endless holding pattern where your client's out on bond and we can't move forward because there's this mythical, maybe I'll get something from Verizon situation.
Well, I'll work to get updates, Your Honor.
Okay, that's all it is updates, and so hopefully your investigator can extract that.
Your Honor, and the other matter is kind of a joint matter with Jaquavius and Quantavius. No, this one. Their original bond order had one of them living with their father and one of them living with the mother. The family has inquired about switching so they could spend time with the other parent. So I was going to file a bond motion, but I believe the PUD's office thinks that we might be able to handle that this morning if the courts want.
Trying to find the bond order. Here it is. So Jaquavius, your client, is required to reside with his mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are asking, could it swap so that actually Quantavius resides with, is it pronounced Juhan? Juhan, that Quantavius would live with Ms. Juhan and Jaquavius would live with, I just don't have the other bond up, but the father.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have an issue with that as long as both defendants want that. But I do need to hear from Ms. Wood and Ms. Dilligard. Ms. Dilligard, do you have any concern as long as we've got a fixed address, we're just swapping? So it's not, you guys can live in the same place, but on date X, you're gonna change houses.
No issue, Judge.
Okay, all right, got that. You guys stay put right there. Ms. Wood, same set of inquiries. It sounds like, well, let me start with you, Quantavius Hammond. Are you interested in pursuing that offer from the state, 7 years to serve, followed by 8 years in custody?
No, Your Honor.
He's not, okay. Any discovery issues on your side? And I didn't hear Mr. Kraft say anything about, I don't have X from the state. He's trying to get things not in the state's custody.
I think I have everything that the state has. I did send Ms. Dilligard an email and we'll talk just to inquire about some potential medical records that might exist, but otherwise I think I have everything.
Okay. Medical records for no one got shot.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For the victim.
Okay. All right. Understood. So you're good to go. We don't really need to preserve final plea rights for Quantavius Hammond. He's saying no thank you to 15 to do 7, and you're ready to move forward with the case.
Yes.
Okay. Quantavius Hammond, are you interested in changing houses so that you would move from your father's house to your mother's house, and that would be the place you need to stay?
Yes.
Okay, we can make that happen. Ms. Dilligard, anything from the state?
Nothing from the state. I did reach out to the victim regarding the medical records. I'm waiting to hear back to see if she did seek medical treatment. I'm not in possession of any medical records, but I can look into the matter.
Well, just so everyone is managing expectations, you don't have any greater access to medical records than the defense does in terms of getting an order from me or whatnot. Certainly, if Ms. Jackson is willing to sign a release or something, that can expedite things, and you're in a better position to talk to her about that. But I don't want Quantavius Hammond to be thinking, the state's not handing something over. If you never asked for them, then you don't have them, and they're not in GBI possession. They'd be at Grady or Piedmont or wherever Ms. Jackson went, if she went anywhere. Okay, got it. Mr. Kraft, anything else on behalf of Jaquavius Hammond?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. Wood, anything else on behalf of Quantavious Hammond?
No, you're right, thank you.
So I will see everyone on January 30th. I'm gonna keep this as a let's get ready for trial situation. I'm on notice that there may be some outstanding discovery that Mr. Kraft is seeking. And we'll see if that's a reason to delay the trial or not. We'll have that conversation, but I'm definitely on notice. I will modify the 2 bonds so that the young man can switch houses. I will keep open Jaquavius Hammond's final plea rights. And we'll see what happens on the 30th. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are free to go.
We can talk outside. I'm gonna talk to her.
So if we could do the 3